Okay, I found it very interesting when you were talking us through the meditation where you said sometimes you could keep your eyes slightly open. And I remember reading in your book that you said Pearl was the one who taught you that. And could you talk just a brief bit about those? I mean, is it just something, personally, or do different things happen when you use different methods?
Absolutely, different things do happen. And there's so many beautiful ways to meditate. And so my next experience with that was with Anandamayi Ma in India. I met her on the street, actually. I met her first at her ashram, and it was a big ashram scene, and I had the feeling she was really bored with it. I mean, you think it might be fun to be worshipped, but after about 40 or 50 years of it's very lonely on that pedestal. And she used to get away every now and then and just go hang out somewhere and cook for her friends, for her devotees. So I met her when she was buying groceries in Jagannath Puri. And she, the woman in front, I made a prayer that I would meet her sometime alone, and I did. My prayer was answered. And we walked together for a while. And then the next day I met her again. I was in a rickshaw, and she saw me before I saw her. And she looked at me and she bowed like that. And I felt this transmission of consciousness go into, I knew she was seeing God. And I said, the next 3 days, I said, I want to see within myself what she is seeing, And that was a tremendous boon. So that's one of the greatest gifts you can give to another human being, is to see the God in them. So when I met Pearl, she said, would you like to meditate? And I was going to sit on the floor in lotus position and shut my eyes, And she said, you don't need to sit on the floor to meditate. And I said, really? And she said, in fact, you don't even need to close your eyes. And I said, whoa, this is revolutionary, She said, just keep your eyes open, but turn your attention inward. So we can all do that now. Like, I'm looking at each of you, and I'm going to back up so you can maybe see my heart center a bit, and imagine a sun there, and the God sun within me is sending a beam of light into your heart. And you feel a sun in your heart sending a beam of light to my heart. And then you say, I am the living light going forth to your heart. You can just feel it inside. Like, I am the living light come forth in Catherine's heart right now. And you can say, I am sending the living light into Peter's heart. And keep your eyes slightly open. Just relax. It's not a mental thing. It's a feeling. And when you close your eyes, it shuts this off, actually. So, see, this is the Christ in action. Jesus said, where two or more are gathered in my name, I am there. So I am a Christ, you are a Christ. And we are seeing each other. The Christ in me sees the Christ in you. The Christ in you sees the Christ in me. Or I could say, I see the Mother Mary in you. I see the Divine Mother. So I ask for the blessings of the Divine Mother. So you can say, I am the Divine Mother, sending love from my heart to Peter's heart. But try to keep your eyes open, looking at me. You see, that means I am here. I am here in the world. I'm not up there. I am here, a human being, who an embodiment of God consciousness and God love. And I see you, I acknowledge you. You are in a physical body, but I see the God in you, and I acknowledge that, and I feel it. So that is this meditation I did with Pearl. And we used to sit sometimes every morning. I would go up there, sometimes 15 minutes, sometimes 45 minutes. And the light, then you, in that consciousness, just feel, I am the living light, or I am divine love. You can see it in the room, you can feel it, and it flows out. She would sort of disappear and become a ball of light. So I would just see two eyes and a smile, and she would see me as that. So it was, I'm not sure if someone walked in the door, if they would see anybody there. We were both, talk about fifth dimension or fifth density. I like to call it density rather than dimension, because it's a frequency, a higher frequency. I have a photograph of the 16th Karmapa where you can see right through him. You can see the tankas on the wall behind him, because he's in that raised consciousness. So actually, if you're working on ascension, one of the best things you can do is to have a partner where you sit down with them and you do this and you feel that light going through your body. If you have an evolved cat, maybe you can do it with the cat or with the dog or something, but I would say generally better with another person, as long as they have that inner awareness and they're working on that. It's not a staring contest. It's just your attention is actually inward, but it's like saying, I see you and I feel you. And that is very important, that this is not an out of the body experience. Being a human being on the earth is in the body experience. But, to have access to that Buddha consciousness, you can go into that oneness and disappear, but then to come back where the mastery is, which is, I think, the Aquarian age thing that we're developing, how to bring that Buddha consciousness really into the human world as a functioning human being. To work as a master in duality.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Somebody asked me who Pearl was. Don asked. Pearl was a student of Godfre Ray King, who wrote Unveiled Mysteries and started the Saint Germain Foundation. After Godfre left the earth, she was directed to come to Mount Shasta. He was head of the I Am Sanctuary in San Francisco for a while. And she had amazing experiences with the Ascended Masters. And she was told to marry this fellow, Jerry Dorris. Now, the town of Dorris was named after his family, and he was very grounded. He was actually a cowboy. He was sent as her protector. They had this marriage that was more a friendship, but they worked together. But they remained completely unknown in the town of Mount Shasta. They had different jobs. They ran a motel downtown. They had rentals and so on. And no one knew about her work under Godfre Ray King. And then one year, a friend of hers had a birthday party for her downtown. And there were two guys that worked at the health food store, and they were invited to this party. And they felt something special about her. And they followed her home about a block behind her. When she got home, suddenly there was a knock at the door, and these two guys from the party. And she said, "What are you doing here?" And they said, "We feel you know something, and we want to know what it is." So she said, "Sit down." Now, Jerry was out working at the motel. This was, 8 o'clock at night. She said, "I have to be quick because my husband will be home soon, and he doesn't like me entertaining strange men while he's at work." So anyway, they were very excited. She talked a little bit about the I Am and going within and about the masters. They came back the next day with a few more people. And this was before the internet. Word spread by word of mouth. And, she never charged anything. And gradually more and more people started coming. And one night, Jerry came home early, and there were like 25 people in his living room. And she introduced them all, and he was a good sport, you know. And he realized then that the masters were directing this. So over a period of about 10 years, that we figured over 12,000 people came to see her, all just by word of mouth, no advertising, nothing. And she was busy from morning till night seeing people, and you would sit in her presence and just feel that transmission. And she never channeled, you know. When I first saw her, she said, Saint Germain is working with you. And I said, well, I don't hear anything. And she said, if I channel the message, that would weaken you. You have to learn to get it within yourself. And it might not come as a voice at all, just an energy in your heart guiding you. And so I learned to work with that. And people didn't come to her to get messages, although sometimes they would leave and say, Pearl told me what to do. But what they meant was she would help them get in touch with their own heart and say, what do you feel you should do? What is in your heart? And they would say, well, I really feel like this is what I would like to do. And then she said, well, why don't you do that? And so then they would say, well, Pearl told me what to do. No, she said, do what you feel in your heart. So I've had experiences with the masters where I met them physically, even these two on the wall behind me, met them in physical body. And actually, Kutumi did tell me something. He said, get on the next bus. That was in Israel, but he didn't channel a message or tell me about past lifetimes or what I'm going to do the rest of this life. And I've met Saint Germain a number of times. It's more like he tell me a joke or something. Very rarely did he actually tell me do this or that. He did tell me write about the Violet Tara, but again, he didn't dictate it. He left it up to me what to write. So anyway, so Pearl, in answer to that question, Pearl taught many, many people how to get in touch with their own presence. She could transmit that, which I think is one of the greatest things. Just like Anandamayi Ma she didn't say anything to me when she did that transmission. She just saw God in me. So as you're working with somebody, just to know this is a manifestation of God in front of me, the Christ is in their heart, you know, or the heart of the Divine Mother is in them. And just to know that and look at them, or sometimes I say, this is a really strange person, but I know that Saint Germain is in their heart, or, you know, they are an aspect of myself. Again, that expression that I learned from those monks on Mount Athos, may the heart of Christ be everywhere known, that the heart of Christ is in everyone. Even those people that seem to be very challenging, just pray that they awaken to that inner Christ light. So let's see if there's anything. Anybody else have something they would like to say? It's probably about time to close. I know you're going to dinner now. Of course, now nobody needs to eat because they're so full of light.
That's so true, Peter. Thank you.
And thank you, Catherine, for your work doing this. And
thank you, Dawn.
thank Dawn also. Yeah, many blessings.